Hey Alan, so I got your email. Um, let's see. So it says your problem is that when you take an item, it goes into the inventory. When you drop it, it drops into the room. I'm not sure that's true. But however, when you pick it up again, it doesn't get removed from the room. Um, let's take a look at what the book suggests we do about the inventory stuff. But you know what? Even before we get into okay, so in the book, the suggestion is it says we should ask ourselves. This is around page what 224. So it says at the bottom of 224, it says we should ask ourselves again which class or object this information should belong to. And the information they're talking about at this point is the max weight that a player can carry and the items that the player is holding. And it says, so carried, yeah, so thinking carefully about the type of information we're adding here, carried items, maximum weight, we realize that this is information about a player. The logical thing to do, following responsibility-driven design guidelines, is to create a player class. We can then add these fields to the player class. So the items field should be in the player class, along with max weight if you're going to implement that. But we won't go into that right now because I don't see an implementation of it at this point. But anyway, we can add certainly the items field to the player class that has the list of items, and create a player object. So you have started building a player object, which is good. And then it says the existing current room also stores information about the player's current location. Consequently, we should now also move this field into the player class. So what I want to do is, before we start even getting into talking about taking and dropping items, I want to get let's get the current room stuff moved into the player class. Everything about the room and the room history too should belong to the player, because it's the history of rooms traversed by that particular player. So let's take a look here at what we got right now. So right now we have a player with a room. So we do have a room field in here and a way of storing the room, but we really want to move all of the room stuff out of game and into player. We want player to be handling it. So we shouldn't even have any of these room fields in our game class. And the same thing with the room history. So let's do this. Let us what's a good step-by-step way to do this? I think what we should do probably is let's see. So we want to have a parser, and actually we also need a player, because if the player is going to be keeping track of the rooms and everything, then we'll need a player field in the game class so we can call all the room stuff, right? So let's say in here, let's just initialize our player right at the beginning here. Player equals new player. Is that the whole constructor? Yeah. Oh no. I think we need what do we need here for player? So this constructor, oh, yeah, I don't think a number is really what we want here. Maybe, and you're not using that number anywhere, so maybe what we could do is we could have a string in here for the player's name. We could have a field for the player's name. So let's say private string name. Okay. And then in our constructor we could say name. And we could say this dot name equals name. Okay. Compile. Okay. So now here we can create a new player. Let's call him Alan. Okay, that comes. Oh, I see. And then we have this dummy initialization down here. So why don't we, for now, let's make this, or let's use our field here. Okay. So we should be in the body of our game. We should be, using that player field. So so we're keeping track of who the player is. And then the way I would handle this is, so we have a parser and we have a player. I'm going to comment out these other fields for now. I want to see how we can start transferring these fields over to the player. Okay, so let's try to compile that. Okay, so our room history stuff. Okay, so first, so we see, you know what, let me, because I don't want to make these videos go on too long, let me stop for now that we have created a private player field, and in the next video we're going to start moving this room information over to the player.